Hi, sixth graders. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Chumash class. Today, we are going to be learning about the second mitzvah that is given to Bnei Yisrael in this parak. Yesterday, we talked about the first mitzvah, which was the mitzvah of Rosh Chodesh. And today, we're going to be learning about Korban Pesach, the special offering that was brought on Pesach. Now, it's important to note there are two versions of this mitzvah. The first one is the Korban Pesach that the Jews were commanded to bring in Egypt, the year that they were being freed from Egypt. That's what we're going to learn about right now. And this is what is called Korban Pesach Doro. I apologize. This is what is called Korban Pesach Mitzrayim. Sorry, I got a little distracted because my husband walked by and waved at me. He's waving to you all as well. So, backing up. Korban Pesach Mitzrayim is the korban that Bnei Yisrael brought in Egypt right before they were freed, right before Yetziat Mitzrayim happened. The other Korban Pesach is the one that they would do every year after that, called Korban Pesach Dorot, the one for generations. This was the commemoration of the one that they did originally in Egypt. So there's two versions of this mitzvah. Korban Pesach Mitzrayim was done once and only once in history, and Korban Pesach Dorot has been done ever since. Obviously, we don't do it right now because we don't have a Mishkan or a Beit HaMikdash, and we're not bringing korbanot. We celebrate the holiday of Pesach, but we're not bringing a korban. But Emir Hashem will have a chance to do it very, very soon with the coming of Mashiach. Say Amen. All right, here we go. We're going to stick more Shira in the corner, and we are going to get started on our next lesson. Please have your brackets open to page 7. Follow along with the Milon. You've already translated these psukim, Gimel through Vav, and you've submitted them on Google Classroom. Shmot Parak Yud Bet. Here we go. If my slides decide to work. Come on, slides. You can do it. Great. Pasuk Gimel. Dabru el kol adat Yisrael. Hashem tells Moshe to speak to the Jewish people. Adat means congregation. Lemor, and tell them thus. Ba'asor lachodesh hazeh. On the 10th of this month, which we discussed yesterday, is the month now known as Nisan. Vikhu lahem. They should take for themselves. Ish se levet avot se labayit. They should each take a se. Se means lamb, for their fatherly household, or their house. So Beit Avot is just an old phrase, an ancient phrase that tells us how families used to live in those times. It used to be that there were multiple generations of a family living in the same house. So it was called a Beit Avot because all the different people living in that house generally they came from one family tree, from one Av or Abba. So they all came from the same family, even though it was multiple generations. Sometimes you had cousins, aunts, and uncles. It was called a Beit Avot. So each of these family households should take a lamb on the 10th of the month of Nisan. Dalid. This is a strange pasuk, by the way. So if you didn't get it in the translations, don't worry about it. Let's just break it down together. Ve'im, and if Yimat habayit. What's the shorsh of Yimat? Ma'at. Ma'at means less, a little bit. So if the household is ma'at, less than mihiyot miseh, if it's smaller, if the number of people in the family in the household is too small to finish eating the whole lamb, we'll learn in a future lesson that the entire lamb needed to be eaten. There couldn't be any left over. So if you didn't have enough people in your family to finish a lamb, if there would be too much meat, what do you do? Pasuk Daled tells us, "V'lakach hu ushcheno hakarov." He, the head of this one household, will take the lamb with his shcheno, hashachen shalo, his neighbor, hakarov el beito, who's near his home, someone who lives in his vicinity, b'michsat nefashot, and they'll take it with according to the number of people in their combined families. If you combine these two different households together, then they can finish a lamb, right? So you kind of have to do a little bit of a calculation, make sure that the two families are not going to be too many for one lamb, but you take a lamb all together. If you need to, you combine families. Ish lefi achlo, you need to make sure that everyone has a decent sized portion, not like you're skimping on anyone. Tachosu al haseh, and then you can count that lamb as the mitzvah for both of you. Okay. Pasuk Hey describes what does this lamb have to be? Se tamim zachar ben shana yihiyeh lachem. It has to be se tamim. It means whole, perfect, or unblemished, no boo-boos. Zachar, it has to be male, and ben shana, it is 1 year old. And you can take this lamb or this little livestock from one of two families of animal. It could either be from kvasim, which are the sheep family, or min ha'izim, from the goats. Tikachu, you should take. And what are you guys gonna do with this little lamb? Pasuk Vav, v'haya lachem lemishmeret. It will be for you mishmeret. What's the shorish of mishmeret? Shamar, a guard or watching to keep it safe. You're going to have to keep this little lamb safe, meaning you're going to be guarding over it. It will be the thing that you guard. That's what a mishmeret is. Ad arba'a asar yom lachodesh hazeh. Until the 14th day of this month. So you take it on the 10th and you hold on to it and guard over it until the 14th. Then what do you do on the 14th? V'shachatu oto. And then you will shecht it. You'll slaughter it. Kol kahal adat Yisrael. The entire nation of Israel should do this. Bein ha'arbaim. In the afternoon. This is the description, or the first description of Korban Pesach Mitzrayim. This is what Bnei Yisrael are expected to do. So take a look at page 8. What you're going to do now in your Choveret on page 8 is, this is just some overview of the Pshat. Take a moment to answer these questions, and then come back and we'll go over it together. Just take a quick look at the last question. By the way, each of these questions are on the words of the pasuk that are quoted on the right side. So, for example, v'shachatu oto, on those words, you're being asked, what are you going to do with the seh, when, and matai az. Matai az means why then. The pasuk didn't give an example, didn't give a reason for why you had to do it at the time that you're supposed to do it. I want you to think a little bit and try to figure it out yourself. Okay? So please pause the video right here. And then when you're done, come back and we'll check the answers together. All right, here we go. The first question, Ba'asor lachodesh hazeh, matai lokchim. When are you going to take this thing that you're supposed to take? On the 10th of Nisan. Vikhu lahem, ma lokchim. What are they going to take? A seh, a lamb. And mi lokayach, who's going to take? One per household or family. Each household of the Jewish nation. Next. V'lakach hu ushcheno hakarov el beito. Just translate it, explain it. He and his neighbor will do the korban together. Now, this is generally not how you do it. This is only in a very specific situation. Which situation is this? Madua heim ya'asu et zeh. If a lamb is too much for one family to finish, then you'll do it with a neighbor. But if your family is large enough to finish it, you do it just your family. Ish lefi achlo. Ma'osim im haseh. What do you do with the lamb? Give each person what they can eat. V'haya lachem lemishmeret. Almane emar. What is going to be a mishmeret? A thing that you guard. The lamb is the mishmeret. Ad matai. Until when? Until the 14th of Nisan. V'shachatu oto. Ma'osim im haseh. What are you going to do to this lamb? You're going to slaughter it. Matai is when? In the afternoon. And what'd you get for Madua Az? Why are they going to slaughter it in the afternoon? Because it's very public. It's light outside. People are awake. They can see what you're doing. Shchita, slaughtering, is a nasty business. They don't do it inside. You do it outside. So this is a very public event that Bnei Yisrael are being asked to do in Korban Pesach Mitzrayim. Good work. So that's the pshat of the psukim. We're now going to learn two perushim. We're going to learn a Rashi and a Ramban that give us a deeper understanding of what's going on here. Why is Hashem commanding them to do this in the way that they are being commanded to do it? Is this just some random korban God is asking them to do? Clearly not. There's a much deeper meaning and a goal behind what Hashem is doing here. So let's take a look. You're in your Choveret on page 9. We have Rashi who's commenting on the words V'haya lachem limishmeret, that this lamb is something you will guard for 4 days. So here's Rashi's question. He says it straight out for us. Umipnei ma hikdim lekichato lishchitato arba'a yamim. I'm going to translate these two together. Lekichato, by the way, the kashorish is lakach, and then the to at the end is oto. So umipnei ma, why are Bnei Yisrael commanded to lakach, to take the lamb 4 days before arba'a yamim shchitash, slaughtering it? Rashi even makes the question stronger by then comparing it to Korban Pesach Dorot, the way the mitzvah is done for all future Pesachs. How does he compare it? Mashalo tziva kain. This is not how it was commanded, but Pesach Dorot. In the future observance of Pesach, they took the korban and slaughtered it all on the same day. But on this one, the very first one, they seem to be doing something strange, which is they're taking the lamb early. Seems like they have a pet for 4 days in their house. I hope they didn't get too attached to this little lamb, because then they went and shechted it. So why are they holding on to this lamb for 4 days? It seems strange, especially if that's not how Hashem wanted it done in future years. Rashi quotes a beautiful answer. Hayarav Matya ben Charash Omer. There was a rabbi by the name of Matya ben Charash, and he would say that Hashem realized at this moment in time there was a strange dilemma. Hashem said to himself, the oath, higia shvu'ah shenishbati la'Avraham. The oath that I swore to Avram is coming true. What's this oath? This promise, this shvu'ah that Hashem promised to Avram. The Brit Bein HaBetzarim, which you discussed with Mrs. Steinberg, that Brit Bein HaBetzarim is about to come true. What is Hashem's promise there? Oh, your kids will be slaves for 400 years, and then afterwards I'll take them out with great riches. Okay, so the second part is about to come true now, that Hashem is going to take them out with great riches. And Hashem wants to keep this promise to Abraham, right? She'egal et banav, that I will redeem or free his children. But the problem is, the lo hayu b'yadam mitzvot. Bnei Yisrael had no mitzvot lehitasek bahem, to do or be busy with, kidei sheyigalu, to therefore merit or be worthy of redemption. What's the problem here? Bnei Yisrael have been slaves. They have not been a nation of God that has been given commandments to do. You can only get credit for doing a commandment if you've been given the command in the first place. Bnei Yisrael haven't been given any commandments yet. There have been individual commandments given to individual people earlier in the Torah, but as a nation, Bnei Yisrael have not been given any commandments yet. And therefore, at this moment in time, they don't deserve any kind of redemption. If they don't deserve to be freed, how can Hashem keep his promise to Abraham? So it's very convenient. Hashem is Hashem, and guess what? He can create a mitzvah for them to do, and therefore, if they keep this mitzvah, boom, all of a sudden, Hashem's problem is solved. They have mitzvot biyadam, they've done mitzvot, they fulfilled a mitzvah, and so Hashem says, oh, now I can take them out. They're worthy of it. So what does Hashem do? Hashem gives them 4 days worth of a mitzvah to do. If they do this mitzvah, and they hold on to this little lamb for 4 days, that's something. You know, it's not like they're sitting around, doing a quick, easy mitzvah. It's like, well, they've got a few days worth of the mitzvah, right? And they're keeping each little part of the commandment very well. And so Hashem says, okay, good. Now you're worthy of a mitzvah, right? They sort of had to save up a few credits in the bank. All right. You have 3 questions on pages 9 and 10 on this Rashi. I'm going to translate them for you now. You're going to then pause the video, do those questions, and come back for the answers. So here we go. On the bottom of page 9, question 1 is, Al ezu sheila one Rashi. What's Rashi's question? He says it. Question 2, K'tov et ha'hevdel bein mitzvat korban pesach b'Mitzrayim u'mitzvat korban pesach ladorot. What's the difference between the commandment of korban pesach in Egypt and the commandment of korban pesach for future generations? And question 3, Madua tziva Hashem et Yisrael al korban pesach. Why did Hashem command them to do korban pesach? And for this one, I would please find words to quote from Rashi and explain it. Satet Mipirish Rashi. Pause here. Come back when you're done. All right, here we go. What is Rashi's question? Why are Bnei Israel commanded to take the lamb 4 days early when that isn't how they were commanded to do Korban Pesach in the future? You realize it's not just this part of the question. You can't just stop here. It's the second part of the question really makes it like a good high-level question because it shows that there's something very unique and special about Korban Pesach in Mitzrayim. All right, the difference between the two Korban Pesachs. In Korban Pesach Mitzrayim, they take the lamb on the 10th but slaughter it on the 14th. And in Korban Pesach Dorot, they take and slaughter it on the 14th. That's the difference. The main difference that Rashi is noticing here. And according to Rashi, why is Hashem giving them this mitzvah to do now and in this way? Because they needed mitzvot lehitasek bahem kedei sheyigalu. They needed mitzvot to be doing, to be busy with in order to merit redemption. Very good. Now, Ramban takes it a step further. Ramban on page 10, it's a very simple Ramban, but Ramban really, he takes this idea of Rashi and sort of fleshes it out in a way that is so beautiful. It's not just that they are now busy doing a mitzvah for a few days and getting credit for it. According to Ramban, it's this particular mitzvah at this particular moment in time gave them like double, triple, quadruple points, quadruple merit with Hashem because of the nature of this mitzvah. And what was it? You have to know one very simple thing about the culture of Egypt at the time. Ramban tells us, Kechu lachem tzon, take cattle. The Israel are commanded to take either a sheep or a goat, a baby sheep or a baby goat, to do this mitzvah. And what are they going to do with it? V'shachatu Eloheihem shel Mitzrayim. Use your shayachut skills. What does Eloheihem mean? It breaks down to Elohim shelahem, their gods. What do we know about Egypt? They worshipped cattle, livestock. And if you look at some old ancient hieroglyphics, sometimes you'll see that like some of their gods are depicted as sheep or goats. So what are Bnei Israel doing? It's not any regular old mitzvah. They're dafka doing a mitzvah that could get them in very, very big trouble with Egypt, the people who were their old masters. They are taking an animal that the Egyptians view as their god, and they're tying it up inside the house for 4 days, and then they're taking it and shechting it, slaughtering it. Whew, that's nasty in the eyes of the Egyptians, right? To the Egyptians, this is the worst thing you could do. You're killing our gods. How dare you do that to us? You terrible slaves, right? But Hashem says, if you can do this mitzvah, then you're really showing that you trust me. You're showing that you have great faith in me. And if you can do that, then Hashem says, I can take you out. Then you will merit the redemption and I can keep my promise to Avram. So we're sort of connecting Ramban and Rashi here. The Rashi says they needed mitzvot to be doing to be free. And Ramban says not just any old mitzvah, but dafka, a mitzvah like this, a very specific mitzvah. So the question on the Ramban here, Madua yihiyu Yisrael ru'uyim lehigael. Why are Bnei Yisrael, ra'oi means like they're worthy of being saved, geula, imhem yasu et mitzvah hazot, if they do this mitzvah. And Ramban, just by telling us a little bit about the Egyptian culture of the time, makes it very clear to us they deserved redemption because they slaughtered the Egyptian god publicly. This is why it was done bain ha'arbayim, in the broad daylight. They were not afraid of the Egyptians' reaction, and they showed great faith in Hashem, and therefore they deserved to be saved and freed. All right. With that, please complete your check for understanding on Google Classroom. Study your Shorashim because you have a quiz tomorrow on, again, the Shorashim from Perek Yud Aleph, which we already completed, and Perek Yud Bet, right here. So study those 2 pages and have a lovely, lovely day. Bye, everyone.